So that was one story. Now you have another story which actually shows how good someone is, and then, you know, like, what is that scenario where someone's actually been really, really helpful for you?
Well, last week we needed to get some independent legal advice. Now, obviously with everything going on at the moment, lenders are having to work in a different way. And a few of them were like, okay, look, we'll accept a video recording of a signature being witnessed as your independent legal advice. But although that was quite a good thing, what I found was the couple of solicitors that I spoke to, they were saying, look, James, it's still within risk of our own insurance because it's at our own risk that we're doing that. So we would still prefer not to do it. Even though we know who you are, we've been working with you for a number of years. What we don't want to do is sign it and there's a problem and it goes on our insurance and it causes a problem. So I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to get around this? Because I've got a refinance going on at the moment. I need this money to drop. And this little tiny bit of paperwork is holding us up. So he comes up with a suggestion. Now, I've got to rate this guy. I've been working with this solicitor for a long time. I've been working with him since he was a junior in a firm that he worked at. And I remember him being a T-boy. You know, people used to take the piss out of this guy, like literally. You can imagine, this is a solicitor's practice with probably about 15, 20 Indian men. And this guy is the junior. So you can see what happens at 11 o'clock. He was the tea boy, like literally go and make the tea, even though he's fresh out of law school. You know, he really rode the ride anyway. So we've been with him since he was a trainee. And now the guy has his own place, employs about 20 staff. And he's just a fantastic guy. And he's still as good as he was back then. So he calls me up and he goes, look, I've got an idea. I'm thinking, shit, what's this idea, man? This sounds good. He goes, what I'm going to do is, he goes, because I've got elderly parents, I'm not coming out during the day because I'm going to be in contact with more people. He comes to my house at 10:30 at night and he goes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand outside. I want you to stand 2 meters from the car. He's got one of these little extendy thingies, you know, the ones that they pick the rubbish up with. He literally pops the paper out like that. Yeah, and he goes, make sure you got your own pen because you're not using our pen. Pops it to us and we kind of sign it. And he literally pops it back in again and does his thing and hands us this paperwork. And I thought, man, that is what you call service. I'm sorry, man. That, you know, he's gone out of his way knowing that he's got elderly parents to risk it because he wanted to provide a service. Now, I thought, I've got other firms that are just like, oh, you know, due to COVID, we're not working, we're not doing this. I thought, listen, man, all you guys are taking a piss. When it's your own hustle, you know this guy's going to go out of his way to get that job done. And you got to remember, I asked him for this at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. At 10:30 at night, he's at my house sorting it out, which meant the following morning, it's with the solicitor and we've got what we need. We've got that final bit of paperwork. Because everyone who's done a refinance will know, independent legal advice seems to throw a lot of people all the time. It's this damn little piece of paperwork that just needs to be signed. And I've seen people quoted so much money before. I remember the first one I did for bridging. I remember speaking to Theo about it, and I said to Theo, my solicitor's quoted me 1,200 quid for it, and he was like, "What the?" He goes, "What? 1,200 quid?" He goes, "This should be no more than a few hundred quid." And I'm thinking, what? This guy's trying to cream it, and he was trying to tell me that it was cheap. But anyway, point being, this guy came around and done it. He put an extra £100 on it, which I was happy to pay because he had to go from his house to his office to stamp the paperwork. Then he had to come from his office to my house. And, you know, it's a bit of a mission, but that is an example of a very, very good person. Now, I'm not going to forget that, you know, and I've got several little bits of legal things that need to be done. And I know he's sitting at home and I've just been firing it to him and he's still making money sitting at home. But would I have given it to him if he hadn't gone that extra mile on what he did last week? Probably not. So, you know, there are some really, really good people during this time that are really going above and beyond to get stuff done.
How much did he charge you for that?
He would normally charge me around £200. This time he charged me an extra £100 to drive the 5 miles to his office, then the 10 miles out to me.
Boy, petrol's expensive where you are, isn't it? You know what? I'm gonna say that yes, he was fantastic and that's great, but I've never heard about. I'm gonna be devil's advocate this morning. I've never heard about this video going on their insurance. Every time I've done ILA, I've only had to pay for it once or twice because I couldn't for bridging because I couldn't physically get to my solicitor in Wales. But my solicitor firm has 2 or 3 partners and like 7 solicitors. So when I get ILA, even with like bridging with together, so John is my solicitor, so he does the paperwork with me, he leaves the room, Olivia, whatever, comes in, she does the ILA with me, and we're done. And that costs nothing. So my bridging fee is like, I don't know, they give it to me for like 800 plus VAT. That includes the ILA. So when you talk to me and other people say, oh, like, where do I get ILA? I'm like, from your same like solicitor firm. I think if you're working with a small firm who haven't got X number of partners, etc., then yeah, you have to get it elsewhere. But I assumed wrongly that the standard was ILA comes with it. Like with one of your solicitors, Sandeep, who you referred me to, I was like, listen, this is how much I'm willing to pay, but the ILA has to be within it. He was like, yeah, that's fine. And I was like, cool. So it's one of these things, like, even with a remortgage, I know we both used, was it Foundation on this one?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I've always, at least in the past 5 months, done video ILAs with Foundation, and the firm have never mentioned insurance or anything like this. And they're like a property specialist firm, so they would let me know, but they've just been like, yeah, they said we can do video, we'll do video. And I think for land reg, I had to get a physical, just a neighbor, because land reg are based in 1960, to do it. But I think next time, save yourself 300 quid and say, explain to me this insurance. I know he's your boy and he, but I went out of his way, and he used to be Chaiwala, now he's just the man. But like, I think, and this is for everyone listening, you don't need to get independent legal advice. It can be from a different solicitor or a different partner in the firm, and you don't need to pay for it. And a lot of lenders, not bridges, well, some will accept it over video, which makes it so much easier. Like, I'm not going to Wales every remortgage. Like, that's just a myth. So big up to the guy. But I think my lesson from that is you can do it without the cost. Go on, James, say something.
Yeah, but on the same token, Ted, you're known for breaking people's balls. You're known for busting them for a discount. I know you've used that line in the past before. I'll give you a big up on my podcast, and the bottom line is, when obviously we're dealing with a lot larger amounts here as well. And I'm thinking to myself, 300 quid is minor when you're going for X amount, when you just need the job done. But don't get me wrong, if it was a smaller amount and I could save myself that money, of course I would, man. Come and look at me. I'm an Indian. I want to save money.
100%. But the thing is, right, a lot of the fees that I get, yeah, they are cheaper, but I know, and this is something for everyone, this is really powerful about having data or having a podcast or having reach, is that I know the money that they haven't charged me for certain things, I've made them more than that already. So I don't feel like, some people are, oh, don't you feel bad? I'm like, no, because I've made up for that and more, because I've given them a lifetime of customers with no affiliate fee. Like, one of my solicitors, I was chatting to him, I was like, look, I need a JV agreement. I'm getting quoted anywhere from like $1,000 to $6,000. I was like, this is madness. Yeah, I know. And me and him are very open. I said, look, I know it's like a stock template. You just make it all legal. You put it on your insurance. You know what I mean? And he was like, yeah, to be honest, they are just stock. We just charge a lot for them. And I was like, look, what if me and the guy give you everything you need? Like, we give you every single clause that we want. Like, we just want you to legalize it. And he said, look, Tej, if you do all that, I'll do it for nothing. And when nothing, he means like 200 quid or something like that for a document they normally charge $2,000 for.
Wow.
Might be thinking, why is someone giving this discount? Because I've introduced him now to someone who buys 1 or 2 houses a month of much higher value than me. So already he's made that back. I've introduced him to like 4 people who've used him. He's made it back. And I couldn't have said this to you 6 months ago, right? Like, I couldn't have said, yeah, I've made them X amount of money, because I hadn't. But it's like, it's powerful, because when you have good people who understand the power, I mean, it's maths as well, right? Say they give me £100 off every conveyancing, and I introduce them to someone and they charge them more than they charge me, which they do sometimes. All I need is 1 or 2 people to make that back. So on the topic of good people, when you have good people, work with them, because like, they will look at, if they, depends on how they like, but they will look at the bigger picture, which is there's more money, coming from this one person than there is from just them. A lot of investors, not the same people in our sort of community, but just in life, will buy one house every year, every few months. They won't bring any business. It'll just be like, got a house, do the conveyancing, take 6 months to buy a house, done. Whereas when you come along and say, hi, there's 10 people here who are going to use you in the next few months, it adds a different level, and then when some people say, nah, I'm not about that, then it's your decision to work with them or not. But just to caveat your point there, and just to show people that when you get good people and you can work with them, they can win probably more than you're winning in this situation. And you'll get better benefits that are not money, like quicker conveyancing. Like, one of my sisters said, Tej, look, when you're buying a house, send me the legal pack. Look, I'm not going to go through it in detail. It's not official. It's not on my, it's just going to be, Tej, I've had 4 minutes look at it. You're okay, go for it. And something like that, which saves 150, 400 pounds per legal pack, some people charge, is pretty epic, right? Like, again, because of relationships, just like with your guy, how many solicitors would do that? Even if you paid them, how many would do that? I actually can't think of one who would.
No, not many. I think I agree with you. Where you say good people, I think it's all about putting together your power team, and these certain people fall within your power team, and then it's the same people you call on when you need them, and you can think, okay, I've got 2 weeks on this one. I can go to, matey down the road who's going to charge me X amount, or I've got 24 hours on this one. Let me look down my power team and think, okay, this guy will, get it done for me. So where you say good people, I'd refer to it as your power team. And I think everyone in property needs a power team. And I think most of the people would have a power team, and that would include solicitors, builders, plumbers, electricians, whatever. And you've got a massive bank of people you can refer to. And then within that team, you've always got the cream of the crop that sit at the top, that do everything for you and will bend over backwards to get stuff done for you.
Cream of the crop that sit at the top. I like that.
That
should be like the tagline for our next episode.
I'm putting it on a t-shirt, bro.
That's actually sick. So speaking of good people, are you happy to talk about your other or your same solicitor who's dealing with what we spoke of? So everyone who wasn't here last week, we spoke about a purchase that you did of a flat for £24,000.
Yeah.
Madness. All the London listeners, I know what you're thinking, just like, that's not even a deposit for like a garage in anywhere. But you bought a flat for 24 grand. It was leasehold. Did you read the legal pack? Yeah, arguably not.
Of course
properly.
Not. It's like buying a second-hand car, isn't it? You just have a quick brief freak look at, you think, I might lose, I might not. I'll take a gamble on this one.
Okay, everyone. So you know what James is like there. So you bought this flat, and I had a look at the legal pack for you, and it was what it was. Your solicitor looked at it, and what is now happening with that? Give everyone an update on that. Well,
so the solicitors looked at it, and I'm laughing because this thing just gets worse and worse. Well, it doesn't get worse. It's just like it's a bit like EastEnders. It's just every episode there's something funny coming up. Anyway, so he had a look at it, and he emailed me a couple of days ago. He goes, look, I just want to make you aware that these guys who are selling the flat and the house, when they've put it into auction, there's certain things that they haven't done. So alongside the contract, they should have submitted a proper lease for it. There isn't a proper lease for it. And there's a few other headline, and we were talking about the headline lease. There's a few other things that the solicitors picked up on. I say a few things. This email was about 12 different points on saying that you haven't done this, you haven't done this, you haven't done this, you haven't done this, you haven't done this. And right at the end, he goes, which is now going to lead me to serve you a county court thing for being in breach. And I do not want my client proceeding with this. And I want you to give him back his deposit and give him back his fees. And I'm thinking, you got to remember now, I haven't asked my solicitor to do this. As far as I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to carry on going through with this. And this is another really good person in my team, another good solicitor that I've been using for years and years and years, that just has your best interest. He's actually gone forward and tried to get out of that purchase because he feels there's certain things wrong within it, which could end up costing a lot more money to put right. Now, when I asked him, I said, what do you think the likelihood is of this swinging our way and we just walk away with it unhurt? And he goes, I reckon it's 60-40 our way. And I'm thinking, wow, because when you buy something at auction, the minute the paddle, you know, the hammer's gone down, that's it. And I know that because I bought a few things in the past. But I'm thinking here, I might just let this guy run with this and see if he can wingle his way out of it, because this would make a really, really good podcast on how to get out of an auction purchase if you ever need to, you know. But obviously, I wouldn't say do that, because most of the time the contracts are watertight. But when I sent him through the sales memorandum, he said there should have been some extra bits attached to this. He goes, the fact that they've signed it and you signed it and it's one page and all it talks about is the price is something that's we may be able to pull back on. So as far as I'm concerned, at the moment, we're still going for a completion, but he has put that to them. And for the last 3 or 4 days, their solicitor has gone from being quite abrupt and rude to just silence, nothing. So I'm thinking, damn, my London boy's got you, boy. He's got you, Northerners.
That is so interesting. Like, it's fascinating. Like, law is so fascinating. But like, what's more important, again, going back to good people, is that your solicitor has auction experience, has enough experience to know what, you know, a legal pack and discounting, you know, should look like. It's interesting because him trying to serve, I mean, you're going to send me the email hopefully so I can read it, but serving whatever he's serving on whatever these wrong clauses are, it's interesting because if you look at the auction guidelines, which are this long and this tiny in font, a lot of it basically says, like you said, once the hammer goes down, you're fucked, innit? Get fucked. Like, literally is what it says, which is fine. That's auction. So if he can claw it back, that will be, I mean, that'll be a case for, that'll be on his armor, mate. That'll be like a little badge, because that's freaking, and to get the fees back from the auction house, because again, they're going to say, we're not liable. You exchanged. When you exchange, you say you read the legal pack. I don't think you'll get your auction fees back, but I don't know. But I know what, and I think I know which auction house it is, and I know sort of what they're like. I don't think we're going to, I mean, it'd be really interesting to see what happens. And the fact he sent it without asking you is interesting because, well, he's putting your best interest and his insurance at the core of it, right? Because if he doesn't do that, you can sue him, right? You know what? I feel like conveyancing and solicitors, it's just all about insurance, even valuations, everything, and lenders. It's just insurance. It's like, okay, how can I stay insured? How can I keep insured? How can I protect myself? It's like politics. Such bollocks, mate. I'm sick of it. I'm done. I'm done, mate. But yeah,
he's a great guy, man. I'm thinking back now, and he's saved me a lot of money in the past, and he's saved my ass a lot of times in the past with a few things. And I think, you know, yes, he is more expensive than certain people, where you get a quote from several people and you think, oh, mate, you down the road, I've not used him before, but he's 400 quid cheaper. But then I'm thinking to myself, you know, when certain things like this happen and he really, really saves your ass. It's like with my accountant. People say to me, James, why do you pay your accountant 500 quid a month? I say, I pay my accountant 500 quid a month. Yeah, see your eyes there. They just went, eh? I'll tell you why. Because he is there 24 hours a day for me. I've spoken to the guy, you know, at 2 o'clock in the morning. And last year he saved me £47,000 on a CGT bill that was due because there was a legal loophole, a creative loophole that he created. And I thought to myself, this is what makes a difference than using, you know, Rana and Co. or Jugger and Co. on the high school who charge you like, give me £1,500 for the year, I'll do your books. Or you have someone who knows tax, you know, someone who knows it and can, you know, and save you when you really, really need them. It goes back to saying, going back to that whole thing of your power team and having the right little people sitting on your shoulders, advising you, because Tej, I'm a creative. I don't want to listen. I don't want to read legal bits. I don't want to read legal jargon like you've seen. I want to leave that to the professionals and pay them to give me the right advice.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. And I think most people are sort of the nature where they don't want to read legal documents and they don't want to. But I think, which you do, everyone needs a basic understanding, because let's say you had no clue, yeah, and you were going to auction, you had 5 lots you were bidding on. That's 5 times 150 to probably 300 quid per pack. You could win none of them, or they could all be junk. But it could only take you opening the first or second document for you to be like, actually, this is a no-go. And sometimes it's just as simple as reading searches. If you've got a mine shaft within 20 meters and it's in the front garden, then you need to call your broker and say, look, who will lend on this? If you've got knotweed, call your broker. So sometimes it's not even the legalities, it's just the actual, it's the searches or it's things like that. So speaking of good people, before we go into the main topic, I just want to share some updates from coronavirus. So all of my rent has been paid in full.
You lucky git.
I woke up this morning and my tradesman was calling me because he couldn't get at 8:45. I don't know why he thought I'd be awake then. It's holiday time, and I was just like, yeah, what's going on? Do you need my card details? And then he was like, no, but can't find slates, man. That's northern. He's not northern. He's Welsh. And then, anyways, looked at my phone and I was like, oh, rent received 4 days early. I was like, big things. And then rent received on my other property on time and my other property on time. And only one tenant has lost his job. He works with horses, but he's jumping on YouSee and going to get like work at a supermarket in like, you know, they're hiring for just anyone and everyone. So, which is quite fortunate. And I'm going to obviously thank them all and like have calls with them and just, you know, give them the source because I'm self-managing. But good news from coronavirus. Other than that, I'm a little bit bored, I must say. Netflix has increased in terms of how much is being watched, which, you know, not ideal, but there we go. But yeah, I think, you know, because last time we gave a little update, I managed to complete on a property which I think when we spoke was sort of going to be delayed, but now it's changed from being delayed, which we completed on when did we complete on it? Yesterday with your solicitor that you recommended to me. And yeah,
What was your experience like with him?
You know what,
the reason why I ask is because I recommended him to a few people. Some people love him and some people just can't stand him.
You know what, he's very posh, which, to be honest, does make me giggle a bit. You know, like I'm just a bit of a. I just like hearing him speak because he's just so yeah, unpalpable task I've had to do, Tej. On it, you know, and it just makes me laugh because like, so I mean, okay, I know if he was my regular solicitor, potentially would annoy me, but he did his job. He spotted details which I didn't spot, and like we needed. He was diligent. I think he took too long in the first thing, but like you said, gave him a little, and then he was on it. And actually, he was bloody quick, you know, in terms of responding to me. So, and he was local, and the price was the same. Was it the same? Yeah, the same as my Welsh solicitors. Which, when you think about it, Wales.
Hold on. It was the same once you beat him up on the price.
No, once I had a friendly discussion with him and said, I know what you... No, I didn't say that. But look, I've seen what solicitors do for bridging, and I did the work. I signed every document. I scanned it. I like... You know what I mean? I was just like, look, behave. I said to him, look, I will bring you more business, which I will, because I have so many people around who live around me, because he lives near me, who are like, Tej, who can we use local that's good? And like you said, it's Rana and Co on the high street, and they're idiots. So... at least now I can say, look, I've used someone locally, so has James. You can trust them, which again is more likely to get him more business because people trust us. So yeah, that deal completed yesterday. Builders are in now, or builder is in now.
Wow.
And I got one more completing, which is that leasehold one, which you got me the funding for, big up, in about a week or two. So yeah, things are cool. We just can't find any roofing slates. So it's, yeah, it is what it is. So that's my update from coronavirus.